ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಎಂದರೆ ಬರಿ ನುಡಿಯಲ್ಲ, ಮುತ್ತಿನ ಮಣಿಸಾಲು. ಕನ್ನಡ ಎಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೊರಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಗೀತದ ಹೊನಲು. ನಲಿತ ಕುಣಿತವೆನ್ನ ಶೀಲ, ಚಲನವೆನ್ನ ಜೀವಾಳ. ಲುಪ್ತಮಾಗೆ ದೇಶ ಕಾಲ ಎನ್ನ ಗಾಯನ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತದೆ ಹೊನಲ ಹಾಡು. ಹೊನಲಿಗೂ ಚಲನೆಗೂ ಅವಿನಾಭಾವ ಸಂಬಂಧ. ಆ ಚಲನೆಯ ಸುಂದರ ಪರಿಷ್ಕೃತ ರೂಪ ನರ್ತನ. ಸದಾ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠತೆಯನ್ನ ಪ್ರವಹಿಸುತ್ತ ಹಾಲ ಹೊಳೆ, ಜೇನ ಮಳೆ, ಸೌಂದರ್ಯದ ಇಳೆಯಾದ ಸಂಗೀತವೆಂಬ ಗೀತ, ವಾದ್ಯ, ನೃತ್ಯಾದಿಗಳ ತ್ರಿವೇಣಿ ಸಂಗಮ ನರ್ತನ ಕಲೆ ದೃಶ್ಯ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಸೊಗೈಸುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ ಕಲೆಯ ಕಡಲಿಗೆ ಕರುನಾಡ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ಅತೀವ ಅನುಪಮ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಆಸ್ಥಾನ ವಿರಾಜಿತ ಮೈಸೂರು ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯ ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯಪೂರ್ಣ. ಮೈಸೂರು ನೃತ್ಯ ಪರಂಪರೆಯನ್ನ ಹದವರಿತು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರಿತಿರುವಂತಹ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಣ್ಮಣಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಗುರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಲಲಿತಾ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸನ್ ರವರು ಈ ದಿವಸ ನಮ್ಮೊಡನೆ ರಸಗ್ರಾಹಿ ಸಮಾಧಿವೇಶನದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶ್ರೀ ಸಾಯಿರಾಮನ್ ನೃತ್ಯ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ತುಮಕೂರು ಹಾಗೂ ಇದರ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾಪಕ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾದ ವಿದ್ವಾನ್ ಸಾಗರ್ TS ರವರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನ ಬಯಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ನೃತ್ಯ ಪರಂಪರೆಗಳ ಮಾಲಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಕುರಿತಾದಂತಹ ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯ ಸಪ್ತಾಹವನ್ನ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಆಸ್ಥೆ, ಆದರ, ಅಭಿಮಾನಗಳಿಂದ ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ, ಈ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸ್ರೋತಗಳನ್ನ ಆಲಿಸಿ ಸುಖಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಹೃದಯ ರಸಗ್ರಾಹಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಸ್ವಾಗತಂ, ಶುಭ ಸ್ವಾಗತಂ. ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯ ಸಪ್ತಾಹದ 6ನೇ ದಿನದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮೊಡನಿರುವ ಪ್ರಖ್ಯಾತ ಹಿರಿಯ ನೃತ್ಯ ಗುರುಗಳು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಲಲಿತಾ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ರವರಿಗೂ ಹಾಗೂ ಮತ್ತೆಲ್ಲ ಸಹೃದಯ ರಸಗ್ರಾಹಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಶುಭ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೋರ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Good evening to one and all the viewers and the respected guest of the day. I would like to just bring to your notice the journey of the last 6 days which we have had in the 7 days online series on Karnataka Nritya Parampara. Vishishta Parampara of our state started with a presentation by Dr. Chudamani Nandagopal ma'am, where she opened up various different sources starting from 6th century BC, and dances like Achalada Bharata and others were explored, and various resources were also listed to all the viewers. From then on, from literature, from scripture, from architecture, we moved on to our parampara, which is a living legacy. The 4 different paramparas of existing 4 different paramparas of Karnataka Nritya Parampara were executed, very well demonstrated in the last 4 days. The culmination of yoga, shastra and natya, the Nanjanagudu Parampara, was presented by Dr. Mala Shashikant ma'am. The Nritta Pradhana Parampara Muguru was presented by Vidwan Sri Ramakrishna Kodancha. The Rasabhinaya Pradhana Mysore Parampara was presented by Sri Keshavaji. Alaya Asthana Sabhamela Parampara Kolar Sampradaya was presented yesterday by Vidushi Srimati Padmini Sridhar ma'am. And today we are at a stage, I think tomorrow is our last day. We are culminating all these the series, and today becomes very important because there is a Sharanavani which says Sthavara Kalivuntu Jangama Kalivilla. The one which is stagnant perishes, and the one which flows and sustains remains in the world forever and ever. So today becomes a very keynote session for all of us to look at how and what are the traditions and transitions in the parampara, especially the Muguru school of Bharatanatyam, which has been continuously done. And we read one article which was published, I think 2-3 decades ago. It was an interview of Dr. K. Venkatalakshmana, in which she mentions today's guest of ours, Dr. Srimati Lalitha Srinivasan's efforts to keep Mysore Parampara alive. And the interview was done by a dancer again, Sri Sukanalli Shadakshari sir. And when he interviewed Dr. K. Venkatalakshmana, she has mentioned about the efforts which are taken then itself by Dr. Lalitha Srinivasan ma'am to her Nupura school of Bharatanatyam in Bangalore. So this gives us an authentic information as to her efforts centuries long from now, as to how she has found this. And also, she's a culmination of various different Guru Paramparas. I think Rupashri ma'am will introduce her better. So we will be looking at the transition and how it has been taken forward and is been there with all of us and amongst us even today as a Vishishta Parampara. Yeah, over to Rupashri ma'am to introduce Dr. Lalitha Srinivasan.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಒಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞನೆಂಬುವನು ಗರ್ವದಿಂದಾದವನೇ, ಎಲ್ಲರೊಳಗೊಂದೊಂದು ನುಡಿಗಳಿತು ವಿದ್ಯೆಯ ಪರ್ವತವೇ ಆದ ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ. ಹಾಗೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಬಾಲ್ಯದಿಂದಲೂ ನೃತ್ಯವನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದ್ದರು ಎನ್ನುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ನೃತ್ಯವನ್ನ ಜೀವಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ಒಬ್ಬ ಹಿರಿಯ ನೃತ್ಯ ಗುರುಗಳು ನಮ್ಮೊಡನಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರನ್ನ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಧಾರ್ಷ್ಟ್ಯ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿಯೂ ನನ್ನದಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಪ್ರಕಾಶದಿಂದ ಪರಿಚಿತರು. ಅವರನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಕೆಲವು ಗೌರವದ ನುಡಿಗಳನ್ನಾಡುವಂತಹ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ನನ್ನದು ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾ, ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡೀಡ್ ಮೈ ಆನರ್ to speak a few respectful words about the very senior most and a very kind-hearted Guru Dr. Lalitha Srinivasan ma'am. I'm all the more honored to speak about ma'am each and every time I meet ma'am and all of you Sahridayas. Guru Dr. Lalitha Srinivasan ma'am. Dr. Lalitha Srinivasan is a dancer, teacher, choreographer and a research scholar. She heads the Nupura School of Bharatanatyam, founded in 1978. Madam has to her credit numerous dance ballets like Chitrangada, Shri Krishna Parijata, Lasyotsava, Prem Bhakti Puri, Kaushika Sukritam, Gaudaramalli, Devakannika, Anveshani, Nisha Vibhrama, and many, many more. Madam is especially lauded for her innovative works like Anga Bhava, Kavya Nritya, Sulalita Nritya, which is a revival of the 16th century dance form, the Suladi and Nisha Vibhrama. In addition to the numerous dances she is tutored, she is the holder of the prestigious Shiromani Priyadarshini Awards at the national level and Karnataka Sangeeta Nritya Academy Shantala Award and Kannada Rajyotsava Awards at the state level, and was also a fellow of the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. Indeed, an honor to have Madam on board in the very thought-provoking RASAGRAAHI's SAMPRADAYA SAPTAHA. And without any further delay, I respectfully welcome Dr. Lalitha Srinivasan ma'am onto the board, and we await the enthralling session about the traditions and transitions in Mysore and Guru Parampara, ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am, and the floor is open to you.
Thank you, Rupashri Madhusudan, for your kind and appreciative words, and also Sagar for putting up this RASAGRAAHI beautiful name and Sampradaya Saptaha, bringing us all together under one umbrella or collectively presenting our banis continuously for the 7 days. I appreciate your efforts and I'm very thankful for this opportunity to voice my feelings and my whatever little bit I have done in the field over the years. And everybody has spoken so well from past 5 days. They have represented their banis very well and given demonstrations. And it has always amazed me what kind of varied adus are there in these traditions, and also the repertoires of each school is so different from the others. So it has been wonderful to watch all of them. I hope I'll carry on that from those traditions to transitions to the future of our land. The transition has always been there, as Dr. Chudamani Nandagopal said. Historically, she has proved that the Marga tradition, which existed during the Chalukyan era, went on to the Desi tradition in Hoysala period, and the Vijayanagara was more, in the Vijayanagara period, it was more entertaining, And you also see group sequences on the sculpture walls. And the Vadiyar period was also very positive about solo dancing, and also for its varied repertoire, and especially emphasis on the Rasabhinaya. The Marga tradition, which was existent till 10th century, went on to become the Desi tradition. From Desi tradition to on the 17th, 18th century, we had the inclusion of the Tanjore quartets tradition, as Chinnaya, as all of you know, lived in the court of the Vadiyars. And then, because we imbibe those traditions also, some of our own items or numbers were lost, or they were not so predominant, as this became very important to follow, or it became very dominant in that scenario. And then, but we have not lost any of them, as we saw over the past 5 days, and it is our duty to carry on from that to the next future, and also to the next generation, whatever legacy we have got from our gurus. The transition has also been from temple to the court, to the proscenium stage in the British era, because Devadasi system was abolished. Especially in Mysore state, it was abolished at the very beginning. And then at the very beginning, in the 1920s itself, and then from the court tradition was going on till almost 1945, till India became independent in 1947. And then unfortunately, the public forums did not pick up as well as in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka. That's why we sort of, it had a very dull or demure atmosphere during that time. But it has also come of its own age now. Everybody speaks of Mysore school, and we have all also are trying to promote that Mysore school, which we have all enjoy so much. The audiences also have been changed because of in the court there were scholars and very informed people who knew Sanskrit, Telugu and Kannada and music very well. The kings themselves were connoisseurs of art, and they themselves are artists many times. They themselves composers also. So this way the court tradition was very rich and very promoting the lyrical, musical aspect, and also the Rasabhinaya mode of dancing. Audiences also are subjected to from the temple to the proscenium stage. It's been a transition also, because the large stages on which we dance, like Chaudaya or so, hardly you can see the Abhinaya. After the 4th or 5th rows, you hardly see. Whereas in the earlier ambience, people used to be close watching the dancers, cantors, and her facial expressions. All these things makes us think, how do we promote ourselves? How are we going to do justice to whatever we have learned? How do we promote what we have learned so far, and what is our contribution to the field at the present time? I have been nurtured by the 3 gurus. I'm an amalgamation of the 3 banis, that is Kolara tradition, which my earliest guru, H.R. Keshamurthy, kept to. He taught me the basics of Bharatanatyam. He promoted me through his performances, and also because he did so many dance dramas, I found very many opportunities to perform. He was a taskmaster, he was a disciplinarian, and that's how I got totally involved in dancing, and also learned the basics very well. Very well. In fact, Here one, please. Oh, for nearly 10 years I was with him. I did my Vidvat with him. I did my Ranga Pravesha with him. There was a break, of course, after marriage and childbirth. Another 10 years I went along with him to perform. And also later I told him I was very fond of Abhinaya and told him that I would like to go to Mysore and learn from Dr. Venkat Lakshma. He never denied that to me. So I used to go to Venkat Lakshma also, then to Keshamurti also for practice, and I carried on for a long time like that. Another 10 years I did with Keshamurti. Only when I started my own classes and I became more busy, I had to resort to my own practice. He is one who always promoted me, and also he inspired me to do new works as he used to do. He brought out so many dance dramas. He added so many numbers to the dance repertoire, Bharatanatyam repertoire, and also because of that, he used to also ask me, why is it you are not doing anything new? Every year he wanted me to do something new and discuss with him. And also, while I did my Ranga Pravesha, Gundappa Natavanar, who was the master of guru of my own guru, Keshamurti, used to come and sit in the class and he used to direct us to some extent about the Anga Shuddhi. Anga Shuddhi and Aramandi and all those things, he used to give his opinion on that. And he was present at my Ranga Pravesha. I also luckily had Srimati Shantaram, the doyen of Bharatanatyam, and also Venkatachalam, then the famous critic of India, who graced my Ranga Pravesha and gave me a very good review. It was wonderful to perform the 1966, I did my Ranga Pravesha. Almost 10 years I did not dance till 1977. Then when I took up dancing again, I had to, 10 years gap was there. I had to relate myself to the growing field. So I started doing something on my own, and then I started to innovate things or add to my repertoire, already existing repertoire. In 75 and 76, I went to Mysore to learn from Dr. Venkat Lakshma. It amazed me. Sometime in Bangalore, I saw one of her students doing a Varijamuki Vitana Mamataya Javali, which is famous with her. When I saw that, I knew my calling. I said, this is something I must learn. I can be good at this. I was convinced, and I went and asked her, and she told me, come on, you're most welcome. Come Saturday, Sunday to Mysore, and I'll teach you. That went on for a while, and then in 84, when we started Nitya Nritya Festival, she started coming to Bangalore, stay with me for several days and teach me. The Abhinaya, I was amazed by the Abhinaya repertoire of the Detitayama school. That was Amaru Shataka Shlokas, Mukundamala Shlokas, Bhartrahari Niti Shataka Shlokas, and then Ashtapadis of Gita Govinda, its shlokas, and also the Javalis, which are so beautifully rendered with Jaradus, which was the famous addition to the rendering of Javalis according to the mood of the Naika, the rhythm pattern of the Javali, and also it enhanced the beauty of the Javali. No one else seemed to do that except us. She is somebody whom I watched and watched and watched, and her teaching was also like that. She was not as methodical as Keshamurti was, but when she sat and did her Abhinaya, whatever she wanted to teach, and we had to sort of gather our own information, looking at her with open eyes, we had to collect those impressions on our minds and practice that, and next day when we rendered, she would even make fun of us. ಗೋಡೆನಾದ್ರೂ ವಾಸಿ 12 ಉಪಾಂಗ ಇದೆ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಾದ್ರೂ ಆಡುತ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? She would tease us. Why don't you use your eyebrows, eyes, and mouth, and your whole canters of your face to do the Abhinaya? there is suggestive abhinaya, suchi abhinaya, there is padartha abhinaya, there is vakyartha abhinaya, and then sanchari bhavas. This is how the Mysore school abhinaya develops. It's very well structured, and but it was difficult to learn from her because she never methodically said this is what you should do. But when she sat and performed those things, and she was already in 70s when I was in 30s and went to her. So she would sit and do the abhinaya, and the rare hand gestures which she used, and the beauty of the music lyrics. It was really, I was bowled over. I wanted to do it, and she also was very generous and taught me so much more. At the same time, Dr. Satyanarayana, Mahopadhyaya, Dr. Satyanarayana, whom I knew, he took me to Jejamma. So I learned from her for a while, not for too long, as she was blind also by then and old. And I couldn't go for more than 6 or 8 months. I learned the adus, the different adus of Mogur school, and also I learned Ekambareshwara Shabda, and also Sabhavandana Shloka, and also Tanavarna, which had kite flying, as Radhakrishna told the other day. That also I learned, but unfortunately I've forgotten that number. But I have kept to the adus which I have added to. I have kept basically, when I teach only Krishnamurti's adus, which are very precise and very apt for a learner, especially a beginner. And then I have added Bhugu Sampradaya adus to that distinct group, and I teach that also because they are very different from other adus. This is how I carry on to the next generation. And then the turning point in my career was that when I saw, I have to be honest, when I saw Vasant Lakshmi, Guru Keshamurti's daughter, perform the Rupamajuchi Varna of Kalakshetra, I was taken aback. I said, when there are such beautiful compositions, what are we doing here, sitting and doing the same things which are very simple and very ineffective almost, I used to feel when I saw that. Not that it was really so. Probably on my mind, it was very much etched, and I was taken by that. And I said, we should do something very similar to those things. That's what prompted me later on to enhance the jatis. Probably in the royal court of Mysore or in the tradition, there was not much scope given to Nritta. I'm afraid I have to make this comment because Nritta is very simple. In my madam's Varnams, I learned 1 or 2 Varnams from her also. She insisted that I learn, though I went only for Abhinaya pieces. She insisted that I learn. So I used to learn and perform it also. The jatis were recited like Tanjore jatis, but the movements were very simplistic. So that made the Nritta very simple and almost ineffective, I have to say. Though that comment may be a little severe, but I did feel so when I saw others dancing with such vigor and very tirmanams and complicated jatis and all that. I said I must also work towards this. So I have taken up many varnams. I have done Kannada varnams of H.K. Narayana, who composed. I myself have composed 1 varnam, and also of Mami Parki Mami, whose listing varnams also have done. And so I have added to my repertoire of my students, teaching them all these things. And Mugur Jajammas, I told you, I have added the adus and the Ekamareshwara Shabda. Apart from that, I couldn't do much with her. And then in 87, and also during this time, I went to, luckily my husband took me to Madras season for a dance season during the end of the year, December season. So when I used to watch other dancers there, I used to be very impressed. Why is this we are lagging behind? Why is this we can't see them and also improve our own ways of dancing? Why is it we don't honor our elders? Why is it we are forgetting to get together and exchange ideas, stagecraft has to be improved, and so many other things. When we do the dance dramas, how do you handle those things? Lighting, costume, designing, everything came into my mind when I went to Delhi or Madras to watch the performances. So we came across, we made up our mind to bring those people to Bangalore. So my husband helped me to put up the very first ever festival of dance in Bangalore, that is Nitya Nritya. In 1984, we started, and so many dancers, you name them, whoever it is in India, they have come and danced there. Thanks to God that we have been able to see all of them. And the dance field itself spruced up in Bangalore. Everybody wanted to dance better. Everybody wanted to do better, and also add new ways of dancing, new numbers to their repertoire. This is how it developed. I'm very proud of that, because that's something I wanted for my state. I wanted an identity for Karnataka, so I did that. And then in 87, I went to US. I just went for a visit. My brothers were there. But on the way, I thought, why do I go simply looking at places? Why can't I learn something there? Then I went to summer school at Wesleyan. And then I learned teaching methods, choreographic structures, body-mind relationship, and also kinesiology, anatomy, basic anatomy. How does your body give the best in your movements? I never learned Western dance. My instructors used to tell me, you do your own movements, we will deduce what it is, and we will help you to improve that. So I did a project called Maximum Range of Motion in a Bharatanatyam dancer, which helps the exercises help a dancer to dance a little better. These are something which I have cherished a lot, and have tried to incorporate in my teaching, and also I have done these things consciously because I wanted to be in par with the other dancers of other states. This is something I have always felt. And then also the dance drama, the craze for dance dramas came from Keshamurthy, my guru. He used to do so many things, and then I started choreographing dance dramas. And on the way, my inspirations were so many of them. They have helped me so much. I have to be thankful to all of them. Initially, when I did in 77, when I did a solo performance, sorry, with Sudamayi, a composition of Muttaya Bhagavatar with Swara Prastara instead of a Varnam as a centerpiece. Somehow B.V.K. Shastri, then the musicologist and critic, who came to me and said, I was also learning from Madam then. He said, you have taken up this Mysore school, why don't you promote this? So he organized some workshops at Nupura and also with the local academy, and also at the level of Central Academy also for 6 long months. Teachers came and learned during that time, like Radha, Srinivasan, Lakshmi, and so many others. Bhanumati, sorry, others. And also in one of the workshops, he came and told us, what you do the Purva Rangavidhi, which has the Churnike, Sabha Vandana Shloka, and also the Pushpanjali, then one Jatis with the Ganapati Shabda or Ekamareshwar Shabda. And then when coming to the other items, you do the Tanjavur quarters, Varnams, Jatiswaram, Stiladams. And then you do 1 or 2 Kannada Javadi or Devarnama, and is that your Mysore school? Does it have, can't you broaden it? got to add to it, and then he told me to do the Suladi Prabandha. He gave me the information Suladi from Damodara Pandita's Sangeeta Darpana of the 17th century and said, try this. I was angered. I said, this is Greek and Latin to me. How do I decipher this and dance a tradition which is centuries backwards? Then, because of his insistence, I went on to have a Sanskrit lecturer who taught me, read those books of Ashokamala, Nrityadhyayi, Sangeeta Ratnakara, Natya Shastra, wherever I wanted the information to gather for the Darpana, Sangeeta Darpana of Damodara Pandita. I made notes, and for 10 long years I worked on that. And then Dr. Shachi and Sharda, who's done work on the Suladi Prabandhas, she was a doctorate, Shachi, on the Dasavaranyas compositions. It is unique to Karnataka because they are the compositions of Dasavaranyas between 13th and 16th century during the Vijayanagara period. And then somehow we could put it up nicely. And I did I taught my students the charis and karnas and brahmaris and all that. And then Mahopadhyaya, Dr. Satyanarayana helped me to re-choreograph those things. Though I had done it, it was almost like a varnam. He gave me inputs to make it a better presentation. And my students also took a lot of trouble to learn those things. And Shachi herself, Sharda singing, we performed several times, and it is really very satisfying to see that it's something which belongs totally to Karnataka. Totally, it is the Kannada people's language, Kannada people's faith. It springs from the very soil of Karnataka. The language, the beauty, and the Vaishnavite aspirations during the Vijayanagara period. All these things seem to come through in the Suladi, not only just dancing. That's how a culture develops, I think. And I feel very satisfied having done that. I would like to do one more, but not found time or inclination to do so. And then not only did he leave me at that, B.V.K. Shastri, he told me that Hindindu, you did something which was reconstruction. What about future? Or the youngsters want to do something novel. Why don't you take up Kavya Nritya, the 20th century poets, Kannada poets' works, and put it across in dance? I was once again annoyed. I said, sir, ಇವಳು ವರ್ಣ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಮಾಡು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ತರ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. I made fun, and then he said, no, you should do it well enough so that people will take it, enjoy it. And he also taught us some performances in the journal, the Institute of Journalism, where they really gave a very good write up on this new novel base. There is one, I remember at this juncture, there is one Pundarika Vithala who has written Chitrabhinaya. Chitrabhinaya says that you can describe mountains, valleys, animals, and then rivers, and sea, and all this through Chitrabhinaya, where you create imageries. That's something I have done in this Kavya Nritya, which I have done so many of those Jnanapita Vijeta's compositions of Dr. V.A.K. Gokak, Kuvempu, and then Master Venkatesh Shingar, and also so many others, even from Mysore Mallige, I have done. So these things, I have always thought that I must go on creating different venues for dancers in our Panis to do much more than sticking to the. I would love to stick. I teach the particular adus I learned from Keshamurti. I teach the adus from Jejamma, but I teach the items also. Many of them especially the Abhinaya items, which I learned so very with so much of love and interest from Dr. Venkat Lakshma. Especially until Ranga Pravesha, I never deviate from this kind of teaching. Methodical teaching is very necessary. They must be rooted in our tradition. So I teach them that, and during Arangetrams, they do nothing but some of these things. And I later, when they get into the group sequences or dance dramas and they participate, then it becomes, they will go into the novel methods, or the neoclassicism also occurs. This is how I have carried on. And another thing, I would like my students to look forward to the future, but they must keep to the Mysore schools methods, the varied advus, other than what the other people do, graceful and not so forceful and gutsy attitudes. Like today we see loud and very full of rhythm and too much of rhythm, in fact, sometimes. But the graceful flowing movements, as Padmini other day referred to as the flowery hand gestures of the Mysore school, the dignity and elegance of the Abhinaya, the use of rechakas, Kriva rechaka, Hasta rechaka, and Kati rechaka, which is predominant in the Mysore school, the Abhinaya, which is taken from the very simplistic way to the height of its sensitivity. These are something all students must keep to, whatever they do, whatever kind of creative work they do. I hope they will enjoy this, especially the language, Kannada language. And I don't say only Kannada, you can do in other languages. Sanskrit, Telugu. Telugu is the language of the music. So Telugu was also predominant in the Mysore school. The Sanskrit was, and then the lyrics, which are so very beautiful in from what has come to us, what we can see around us, what we imbibe from the surroundings. All these things can go into as ingredients into the dancing, but the basic method, the Bani, which we say as Mysore school, from varied angles, whatever is Kolar or Mugur or Mysore styles, whatever we have imbibed, we must keep that and go on experimenting and doing better things. This is my wish. This is something I have felt, and as a example, I would like to show some of our video excerpts from our my work, whatever it is. It may be, it's very small work, but I would like to share it with you. In this, my daughter has helped me immensely, and otherwise I wouldn't have been able to put it across to you over the net or over the this in Facebook or whatever it is. It is her efforts that I'm able to do this.
ಜಣ್ಣು ತನ್ನು ತಕ್ಕ ದೆಮ್ಮೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ತತ್ತರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ದಿತ್ತರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ತಾಂ ತಕುದರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ಜಂತರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ದೇಂ ತತ್ತರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ದಿತ್ತರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ತಾಂ ತಕುದರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ಜಂತರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ದೇಂ ತತ್ತ ಕಿಟ್ಟ ತಾ ಕಿಟ್ಟ ಜಂ ತಕ್ಕಿಟ್ಟ ತಕ್ಕ ದಿತ್ತರಿ ಕಿಡದಗ ತೋಂ ತಕ್ಕ ನಂ ತಕ್ಕಿಟ್ಟ ತಕ್ಕ ತತ್ತ ಕಿಟ್ಟ ತಾ ಕಿಟ್ಟ ಜಂ
This is Prem Bhakti Mukti, one of my earliest ones in 1980s, which has Hindustani music for Bharatanatyam, and music was composed by B.R. Srinivasan, and sung beautifully, melodiously by Shanta Poti and H.K. Narayana. And the three stages of Meera's life, young and then the adult and the Saint Meera is seen. And we have danced this all over India, especially in North India, where it was appreciated much. And through Rajasthan, we have traveled in several cities performing this to our fortune. Okay. She's trying again. Sorry. Sorry for the delay. This is my earliest, as I told you. And we have kept to this thing, Nadu's patterns and all, as I had learned, and try to bring out the dramatic element in three stages of Meera, as she was introduced to the Krishna Bhakti. Then when she went to her husband's house and they denied her being devoted to Krishna, she went through a lot of turmoil and suffering. Finally, she abandoned everything and went to Vrindavan to get next one. That's what I do not know whether what I did is right or wrong, but I have enjoyed what I have done, and also I have felt that each generation has to add on to whatever was existing and take it forward, so that next generation will also bring their own flavors to it. The Mysore Bani has the fragrance of the Mysore Mallige, the beauty of the Chandana trees, and also the wonderful repertoire, rich repertoire. So it is indeed. That is Prem Bhakti Mukti for you. This is Sri Krishna Parijata, which all of us friends got together and did this under the direction of Srimati Sharda Rudra, and the music and lyrics were done by Bangalore S. Mukund. Later, Sri H.K. Narayana sang and also directed the whole ballet. Mythological one. This is Kuvempu's Chitrangada. I was very fascinated not only by the great poet's lyrics, but also the character of Chitrangada. So I couldn't help myself. It was from within me. It just used to pour out whenever I danced Chitrangada. The music was done by Vidwan H.K. Narayana. It was very difficult to set it to the rhythm patterns because it was free-flowing poetry. Anyway, we did that, and great poet Jnanapita Prashasti Vijeta were the state's highest honored poet came and watched our performance. That was a great blessing for all of us. This is Lasyotsava. BBG is a poet who is after my heart. His lyrics and the way he has written the Antapura Gita on the Madanikas of Belur is always enchanting. So I have done several of his compositions, and also this is a springtime festival when Channakeshwar, the deity of Belur, dances along with the Madanikas. That is the sequence of Lasyotsava. Very colorful. This is Angabhava. I was very much influenced by Didi Maya Rao also. She was also very kind and appreciative of me. She taught me so much about dance dramas, and she used to watch my performances in Delhi, and she liked my Chitrangada more than anything else. And then in one of her workshops, she taught us without facial expressions, how do you bring out moods or emotions through your body movement. That's what led me to do this Angabhava, which has the four rasas, Shungara, Bhaya, Veera, and also Karuna. those four I have tried to portray only through the movements, body movements. This is what is known as Sulalita Nritya, based on the Suladi Prabandha of Purandara Dasa. I have had the help of so many people to reconstruct this. I know there are many ununderstood portions in this, and also there may be some errors, and also I could improve on it. So as I go on seeing it, I know that. But it's very hard to catch on to the pace of each prabandha, that is shifts from Dhruva to Rupaka, Tripata Tada and all this. But anyway, with a lot of help from musicians and also the insistence of B.V.K. Shastri, who was my mentor also, Dr. Satyanarayana, who has helped me grow as a dancer. So I owe them my gratitude to have done this thing, Suladi Prabandha. Others have also tried. I was very fascinated by Padmini Sridhar's also. Tomorrow I'm waiting for Dr. Tulsi Ramachandra's experiments.
Does he eat enough? Does he sleep well? Separated from each other, can we ever hold on to our breath any longer?
This is my instructor's reaction to my Abhinaya at Wesleyan, where I studied, took a summer course. is Gaudarumalli. We did this for the centenary celebration of Jnanapita Prashasti Vijeta Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. I had the opportunity, luckily. And I have done, since it is a village tale where a Dalita woman is wooed by the local chieftain, Gauda, and she rises up in her stature as a woman and does a lot of good to the community. And she is revered as a goddess in the village. So I have used folk dancing. I brought the videos from the Folk Art Academy. That is, you saw the Devara Punita, you saw the Puja Punita. When they dig wells and tanks, they do the Ganga Puja. And then the Suggi, Halakki Suggi Kanita from the North Karnataka. These have all been added to make it a whole. This is Anveshane. When I read the book of Murthy Rao, written about God, so it triggered my imagination. I said, God has been always been a unknown entity, and we keep trying to find him in everything that we do or wherever we go. And throughout the ages, man has tried to find God. So that is the Anveshane, the eternal quest for God. So we started from the caveman, then this thing Vedic era, and then we did the temple, this thing pujas, when the dancers dance in the processions or in the temples. And then we came to the modern this thing, when man went to the moon, and then his beliefs in God were shattered to some extent, but still the quest goes on and on. I have tried this with the help of V. Ramurthy, a great theatre personality who did the mime part of it for us, and then it was also a very interesting dance drama.
ಕಾಮವಿಲ್ಲಿನ ಅಂಬುಯೇರಿದವೇಣಿ ಸುಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಕೆಂಪಿನ ರಾಗರಂಜನಿ ತುಟಿಗೆ ತಂದಿದೆ ಸತತ ಯುವರದ ಸಪಾಮವಾಮವ ಸದಾವದಾವದ ಸಪಾಮವಾಮವ ಸದಾವದಾವದ ಪಮವಂ ಮಗಮಜ್ಜರಿಗ ನಿರನಿ ದಬದ ಪಮವಂ ಸದದದನಿ ದಿದಿ ಮಮ 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 ದದದದ ಕಾಮದನಿ ಸತ್ರಿ ಸರಿದನಿ ದನಿ ಸತ್ರಿದನಿ ದಬ ಗಾಮ ಗಮವದನಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಬೋಲವಿನ ಮುರಳಿ ಮಾಧವ ಇಂದಿನಿ ದಸರಳು ಪ್ರಥಮ ಪೂಜೆಯು ನಿನಗೆ ರಾಜರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿಯೇ ಭಗವತಿಯ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಭುವನ ವಂದಿತ ಮಾತೆ ಚಾಮುಂಡಿ ಶ್ರೀದೇವಿ ಗೌರಿ ಆಹ ನೀರೆ 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 ಆಹ ನೀರೆ.
This is Kavya Nritya. You saw the Gokak's Samudra Geetegalu, and also this one is also for Gokak centenary celebration we did. This is on the religions, each civilization, how it has interest in different preachers and how it embarks on a religion. All this is given in this with the Dashavatara of the Hinduism. And also earlier you saw the Shivapa's poem where Krishna imagines Radha to be with him. That's why we have shown Radha in the shadows. These are the Kavya Nritya. The Vidwan H.K. Narayana being a Sugama Sangeeta singer also and Shastriya Sangeeta singer also, he did a wonderful job of composing music for some of these items. This was produced for the Silver Jubilee of Nupura. I've had enough of mythological stories and all that. Even my students and my family insisted that I do something new novel. So I took up this Nisha Vibrama, the personifying Nisha, the night, as a woman. And Chitra Arvind and Bharti Vittal helped me choreograph certain portions. And they were of great help, and they danced also in the production. And other portions I did, and the music was done by Anur Ananta Krishna Sharma. this is Karnataka Nritya Taranga. The dynasties of Karnataka, Chalukyan, Hoysala, and Vijayanagara, and I have depicted the last one, Mysore court Odayars, where the darbar was going on when the Dvandva Nritya was happening. And Dr. Chudamani Nandgopal gave me so much of information from the epigraphy and all that. This I tried because I wanted to depict the change from transition from the old tradition to the new, how it was changing and coming along over the years.
Anunaya Vajanam Anunaya Vajanam Anunaya Vajanam Vadantamagre Pranatamapi Priyam Sabhyasuyam Rati sukha sare gatam visare madana manohar vesham radhe dana dadri dagatum kali dagati 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 pasani dabamma sabudari dagati nadri dagatum kali dagati 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 dagati
This is Tattvamasi. I have always loved dancing the Ashtapadis. I danced several of them and learned quite a number of them from Dr. Venkat Lakshamma. It is always green in my heart and mind. But I wanted to put it across the philosophy of the Ashtapadis. It's not only Srungara, there is something beyond all that. The union of the Jivatma with the Paramatma, and all the time you're aspiring to reach the Godhead. That's the philosophy of Gita Govinda, as I understand it. And the music was done by Vidwan Srivatsa and sung very melodiously by him. It is a very colorful and very entertaining performance which goes beyond the physicality of the Ashtapadis. This is Marga Taranga. This is something which I consciously did. We are always doing the Tanjavur repertoire from Alaripu to Chatiswara, Varna, Tillanam, in between some padas and jawlis and all that. On the same lines, I have taken up this on the rivers of India. So the beginning is the stotram we recite usually in our homes on the sanctity of the rivers, and then we have done on Yamuna in Hindi, different languages, and Ganga in Sanskrit, and a pada in Telugu on Godavari, and also in Kannada Tungabhadra, which happens to encircle Hari Hara, both combination of Hari and Hara, and a Tillanam, which also is on Kaveri, which has both Kannada and Tamil lyrics as it Kaveri flows through our land to the next. And the lyrics were done by none other than Dr. Shatavadani or Ganesh, and also wonderfully done, and then the music was done by I think Srinivasan himself, if I remember right, and that Srinivasan, Vidwan Srinivasan, and have sung for it also. And also I must remember that for the Nisha Vibrama, lyrics were taken up from different languages by Dr. Shatavadani Ganesh. We chose some of them from Rigveda and other Sanskrit texts to put them together to describe the night, which is more intriguing and also fearsome at the same time. I forgot to say that. These are the works mostly I have done, and I hope you have enjoyed it. I'm very thankful to all the viewers who have been with us this evening, and also I thank Sagar for this excellent opportunity he has extended to us. And let us keep our Mysore Bani flag flying high so that we go on experimenting. We are going adding to the already wonderful repertoire that we have, and our students may them bring it to the forefront. The universities, the academy, and the people at large should also support these ventures. And also, if they are with us, ಒಗ್ಗಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಲ ಉಂಟು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರಿ, let us take it forward so that the state will be proud of us. Thank you, one and all of you. Sorry, Margaret was done by violin Vidwan T.S. Krishnamurti. I just, at that time I forgot, and I would like to mention that I'm grateful to him for the beautiful music.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. It was, I think, very apt today, and it's a blessing to all of us that you could present us your work and research and the experiments which you have done for almost 4 decades from now in the field of dance, and especially. Yes,
can I say a word? The other day, Chudamani Nandagopal referred to Shastra, Prayoga, Sadhana, Samshodhana. I think we should go on these lines to achieve greater heights. That's what I believe in all.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, a couple of questions which we wanted to ask. Starting from the beginning of your presentation, I think you had a very good, interaction with 3 different great gurus who have shaped you today. One among them is Dr. K. Venkatalakshmama. You also mentioned about 4 different types of abhinaya, like Suchi abhinaya, Padartha abhinaya. Can you please differentiate between all of them is one of the questions.
Suchi abhinaya is suggestive. When you do the Griva Rechaka and all say there, or you even say you are annoyed with somebody, or it's suggestively you do. In Kanda Padyas also you suggestively do. The dancers used to be very good singers those days. So they suggestively denote who are you, what are you doing here. Just that. They don't go into expansion of the abhinaya. When it comes to Padartha abhinaya, for each word, whatever hand gestures you have to do, you do it. And then the total summary of the sentence, you dance. And then you add flavor to it, or you add spices to it by Bichari Bhavas or Sanchari Bhavas. This is how we were taught abhinaya. And I appreciate it. I would like my students to keep to it. And it widens. See, you start at a small beginning and go on to expanding the sensitivity of that abhinaya. I believe in this, and try to practice that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the second question, your experience at Westlin regarding that. The movements and I think it gave you a different analytical mode to look at the movements in Bharatanatyam of what
Yes,
you had learned.
definitely. My choreographic instructor used to tell me, why are you always telling a story in your dance? Can't you do something without a story? Pick up a small movement and build up on this dance. They used to do that and show me. And last day I was supposed to do that for the project. Then if I can take your time, I can say about it.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
said
Please.
side to side movement. That's all I took up. And I was almost didn't know what I was going to do also. Then I took up that side to side movement with my eyes, which we move. Then the neck movement, side to side, under me. And then my hands, like Kayum Datta or some adus. Then I went into the rhythm cycles of the 3, 4, 5, 7 and 9 and did some adus on the sides and came back, slowed the pace. 3 speeds I did and came back to second speed, came back to the first speed and stopped. Initially, I was seeing them all starting with bent head and very quiet attitude. And I came back to the same attitude and he asked me, he annoyed me by asking me, what's the meaning of your dance? When he said there should be no meaning, no story, no nothing in your dance, he later asked me, what's the meaning of your dance? I was very annoyed and I said, this is my Wesleyan experience. When I came here, I was very scared. I couldn't even look here, there, and I couldn't even move and make friends. Now I've made so many friends. I cannot leave them and go back. I'm feeling really sad to leave them and go. And then he asked me, name it. I said, it's my Wesleyan experience. That's how it was. They have recorded it there and then it has been a beautiful experience.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And the next one is regarding Chitra Abhinaya. Chitra Abhinaya of Pundarika Vithala, you had mentioned that you had brought into your dance dramas. Can you please,
That's what Chitra Abhinaya, according to Pundarika Vithala, is that you describe the nature, the animals, the forest, the water, or the falls, or rivers and seas and all that. So naturally, I've used it in Gokak Samudra Geetagalu as it ebb and tide of the water, which is compared with human life also there. And also creepers and animals when you use in Vasanta Kala. I've done Lakshmi Narayana Bhatta's season Vasanta, where we use the birds flying and the animals gallivanting around. All this, so that is Chitrabhinaya. You create imageries of nature which is enjoying itself in that season, or ebb and tide of an ocean. All those things I have used. Actually, when I used it, I did not know. I just wanted to do that. Afterwards, when I read this thing, I related, this must be it.
Wow. So, ma'am, about the Rechakas, I think most of the dancers who are watching, we all have studied Rechakas, like, in the examination, maybe for Vidvat or senior level, there are the mentioned Rechakas, which you actually mentioned about Kati Rechaka especially. And you mentioned that it is very special movement which we find in Mysore Bani. So,
Chandrasekhar, the art critic, used to scold us. You people haven't got the Rechakas which your madam and your Jatita was famous for. And I have tried to teach that also. The Rechaka, the Griva Rechaka is the neck movement with which I told you, you suggestively do the Abhinaya. And then the Hasta Rechaka, which we do not say this, we say you. And then that one, you. So we don't directly say this, you. The wrist goes around. That is a Rechaka. And then when you do your Kati Rechaka, you bend. Like this, it has to be employed in your Abhinaya.
Wow, thank you so much for very simplistically saying what it is. And I think the viewers are very blessed to actually have this session, because Rechakas we used to study before, but once you showed it practically, it became like, imbibed more to all of us. And the last question is regarding your...
Thanks to my
Yeah.
gurus who generously and having some confidence in me. They taught me. I have the same confidence in my Mysore school and the students of the Mysore school, and hope that they'll carry on this tradition until the sun and moon are there in the skies.
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, last question is regarding the collaborative efforts of yours. So, how did collaboration after coming back from Wesleyan? You got into a lot of experiments with lot of people around, because as you actually have credited each and everybody, including the light person, the music composer, the lyricist, everybody. Complete. It's a complete effort when you collaborate. How does these kind of collaborative efforts help? Because some people become very restrictive and they start doing certain works. But I think this collaboration between the artists works better is what we have got from your presentation. Can you please
Yes,
tell about that?
especially for dance dramas, is very necessary. What beautiful cameos Shirish Mohan created for Nisha Vibrahma. I cannot forget it. He is no more with us, but it remains with us beautifully. And then the music, the mridangist, the violinist, the flutist who are with us, the rapport we had with them, which helped us, and the lighting personnel who have worked with us. And I used to make notes and give it. Even today, I make that. I make notes each scene, how it has to be dealt with, and they take cues from that and do that. And when I saw, as I told you in Delhi and all performances, where group combinations and excellent lighting and stagecraft was employed, I said, why not this? Why can't we do this and project ourselves better? And luckily, I have had very good friends, Ramurthy, Venkat Subbaya from the theatre, Chandrakumar Singh, excellent musicians like Srinivasan, H.K. Narayana, and others. Chinna, Kanna, as they were called, V.R. Sheshadri, V.R. Srinivasan, and today for Margataranga, Gurumurthy has played so very beautifully. Sorry, all these people have come only when we come together with all these aspects can a show be successful. Now, recently, Veena Dorasamayingar's centenary celebration, his own music made for Gokula Nirgamana. We are out doing this thing for us, lighting for us, and music was originally done by Dorasamayingar himself. It was a great blessing for us to do that, honestly. Putina's lyrics of Gokula Nirgamana, it was a successful performance, I think. And Surya has been working with us for our 40th anniversary also, for all these dance dramas we put forward. And it is very necessary that you have a very good rapport with all those people who do, and affection towards your students who come and work so hard, and they should also be inspired by us. We are going to take so much of trouble to see that they give their best, and it's totally hard work. Without that sadhana, without that inner connectivity to the outer world or outer movements or outer feeling, is something which all arts must have.
Thank you for a great message in this evening time, ma'am. We are all truly inspired, and the column is completely full with all your comments saying it's a wonderful presentation. Because, and I think wholeheartedly you have given us the thing, and with all these technological issues, we could still watch all the performances which were live. I think it's a boon for all of us. And we could see the productions, because as much as it is told verbally, we wouldn't have got the essence of it, but truly we could sense the way you have worked in terms of each and every minute detail of costume, to music, to the raga, to the stage setting as well, to get the essence of the kavya into the Natya tradition. And also we should salute you for your efforts of Sulalita Natya or Sulalita Nritya, which have brought us a new horizon into the research of Dasa Sahitya. And I think all of us should hear the viewers.
Dr.
Should take it forward.
More details about all this research work
Yes,
and all that.
ma'am.
Thank you, Sagar, so much.
No, ma'am.
Enjoyed
Please.
it. And my daughter
No.
Manu has been with me for all these things. Unless for her, I couldn't have been able to put forward all these things. Thanks a lot. I'm
Thank
medium.
you.
I don't understand of it. I should say.
Your blessings is what we seek than your thanks, ma'am. We seek your blessings more and more so that we grow to at least 1% to 10% of what you are as a personality.
That's what I believe also. If I have gone 4 steps, let all of you go 10 steps ahead. And that's what I aspire for. That's what I hope for all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, from bottom of our hearts, from the RASAGRAAHI initiative of Sri Sai Raman Nritya Kendra Tumkur, and all the viewers. We would like to thank you, and also your daughter Manu Srinivasan, who has ably helped us through your presentation. We extend a heartfelt thanks to her and all the viewers. Tomorrow is the last day of our 7 days long a journey of sessions on Karnataka Nritya Parampara, which will be again more into reconstruction of unseen dance forms of our state. So we request you all to join in large numbers tomorrow, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Ellarigu namaskara.
Namaskara.